All right, we are live.
We are live.
It was so good to see you this week. I'm still, I'm on a high.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I hope you stay on a high. I'm on a high and I'm in a high. I live in beautiful Ajijic, Mexico, where I'm looking at the lake and the mountain across the way. And you know now what a clear day actually is.
Yeah, boy, do I. And not only a clear day, just an overall unbelievable atmosphere. The,
Mm,
the energy is
mm,
second to none. And
mm,
uh, it's hard to understand until you've been.
hmm
Much like some experiences in life, it's hard for you to speak from a point of reference when you've never done something or whatnot. But thank you. Thank you for that
Yeah.
opportunity.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. And you should come back soon and you should come back often. uh, when people discover this, that's the environment, the ecology, and then what's available in terms of how we can open up and shift and transform, like literally transform people's way of being and way of acting and way of thinking. And it's just, it really is one of those vortex points. If you've ever been to Taos or you've ever been to Sedona or you've ever been to some of those places that are vortex points, this is one of them, and it's not highly known, but it's not an accident that it's known as one of the magical pueblos of Mexico.
Yeah, and it's inspiring. It's a place where your idea of it is one thing, you get there and it completely blows your mind to
Yeah.
another level, which is
Yeah.
it was humbling to me. I'll be honest because
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for appreciating it for what it is, because this is truly, without a doubt, you and I have been a few places in our lives, and this place, this environment, this ecology is one of the really blessed places on the planet.
there's no doubt. And the next time I come, which my goal is once a quarter, is
Uh,
some hiking as well because it's so
oh yeah,
beautiful. It's so
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hiking, biking, walking,
yeah.
sleeping, eating.
So, John, I'm excited. Like I said, learned so much, continue to learn, will continue to incorporate, improvise, build
Mhm,
upon. I'm a work in progress, and
mhm,
it was
mhm,
such an opportunity to put, a mirror up, learn many great tools. But
mhm,
it's fascinating because I've been getting questions on the side about it's not just an athlete thing. This is a people thing where
mhm, mhm,
they get tools. They get
mhm,
excited because they get to be in a room. They get to interface with that person
mhm,
that has that
mhm,
energy and gives them
mhm,
information. They leave the room with an energy, and then slowly but surely they go back to their habits and rituals of let's
mhm,
call it laziness for what it is. And
mhm.
they leave the room thinking they're going to incorporate all the tools, all the methodologies, all the innovation, and then all of a sudden they're back to where they started, and then they're in second leadership program, you know.
Mhm, mhm.
So I'd like to dig into that piece of it because I never see it like that, but I'm getting a lot of questions on it, so I wanted to tackle it with you.
Yeah, well, it's a critical question that and it's really valid that you take that. Although it's not your issue, it's never been your issue, and it never will be your issue. Part of it's not your issue is because you're an autonomous human being.
Mhm.
Most people are not autonomous human beings. Most people are kind of amateurs, and most people kind of like, okay, then how do I do this and how do I do that? And they want to be led by the hand and so on like that.
Mhm.
Uh, I call them amateurs, and I divide them out from people that I call professionals. And I'm not talking about professionals from the standpoint of they take money for what they're doing, although they might. I'm
Okay.
taking that they have a professional mindset. And a professional mindset is something like an autonomous mindset. They are their own person. They actually look and they see whether this is something that is going to improve my program, because they're in a program anyway.
Mhm.
Mostly people who are not autonomous are not in a program. Like you said, you use the word lazy. I think that's being nice. But
Well, I was.
that's being nice about it. No, they don't have a program. They're not practicing a program. They're waiting for somebody else to take them over.
Mhm.
And they spend their life wanting to be motivated. So they have no idea about actually generating themselves. The word that is missing in their life is the word generate.
Okay.
Like generate your life,
Mhm.
generate your activities, generate your program, generate your education, generate your ongoing education, and generate your corrections. Generate all of that. I just said 6 things, and
Mhm.
I'll probably never say it again like that. I've never said it like that in the past. But really, 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 somebody comes to you and they go, well, okay, I was in the room and I was really excited and everything. Well, somebody was generating you. Somebody was, these are the people that are whining because they don't have motivation. Even, you know, universities like Harvard Business School, for example, has done enormous and expensive studies on things like motivational training. And they consider they wrote a paper maybe 10 years ago that actually identified motivation as one of the 2 things that is a complete waste of time and effort. Team building is another one,
Yeah, we
and
talked
diversity
about that.
and diversity training is another one. But motivational training is part of the team building. We're going to whip you up so that you're on the team.
Mhm.
No, I want people like us. And people like us, and there are lots of them in terms of gross numbers.
Mhm.
However, they only are about 3% of the total population. So people in the 97th percentile, their intelligence, they are self-motivated, if you have to use that discussing term. They are not lazy at all. They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it all the time, and they know what's right for them. They have, and it's not like they know like schooling, like they went to high school or college and they learned what's right for them. They have an instinctual kind of drive that allows for the sorting of this works, this is not for me. This works, this is not for me. But nonetheless, they have their own autonomous individual drive. Not everybody has that.
Yeah,
So
that's the 3%, right? The 97.
that's the 3%. Yeah. Simon Sinek says, if you understand the why, you'll figure out the how. You'll figure out the how. And that really what is, I've given you this tool, this tool, this tool, this tool, let's say,
Mhm.
or you've given someone this tool, this ability, this distinction, this model, this way, let's say. So it's there for them to use, and they paid the price of being in the room and learning and everything. And then they walked out and they're going, how? Geez, I just wasted a lot of time and effort on somebody, frankly,
Yeah.
you know.
The other thing I think is extremely interesting is the my estimation. Correct me if you feel different on this. Is
Okay, I
that
will.
that 3%, right?
Yes,
That is autonomous and whatnot. They head to challenge. They're not afraid of ambiguity because
right.
they've created the tools and systems that are ingrained in who they are, and they have the mindset
Yep,
and capability to
yep,
overcome, improvise as required. And some tools may work better in other areas, but when they
yep,
are tired, because we all get tired, their
yep.
habits and rituals will then pick them through, which are ingrained in who they are.
That's exactly right. And this is a uh, self-generative thing. They, I'm going to say this in a kind of a peculiar way, but I think you'll relate to it. They like it the hard way.
Oh yeah.
They don't like, they know when they're skipping, they know when they're cheating, they know when they're going around, they know when they're trying to do it the easy way, take cuts and go to the front of the line when they don't deserve being at the front of the line. No, they work their way to the front of the line. They work their way eagerly and happily from worst in class to best in class, and then they go to the next class. And they're worst in class and best in class, and they go to the next class, and they like it the hard way. They do the hard stuff, and if it isn't hard enough, they make it up to be harder.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Personally, in my present state, where I'm going, where I'm at today, and
right.
future, I aspire to always be at the bottom of the top of each level. And
That's right.
And be in the room with others who require me to come up, meet them where they are at. And we talked about this when I was over there. And
yeah.
it helped me crystallize a lot of, let me focus on the here, the now, where I'm going.
Exactly.
Incorporate the new tools. That's great. Some may work better than others. Fine. Who cares what they really are, but making sure that it is a part of who you are, not what you do, but a part of your why and how you accomplish.
Oh, so clear and so well said, so well articulated. Piaget said it so well when he said, play the game, learn the rules, correct. That's how you get to the next lifelong thing. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where it's clearly obvious to everybody around you. And then it will become obvious to you that you're at a level of mastery. Guess what? Play the game, learn the rules, correct, at the level of mastery. In Zen, they say something really fantastic. The principle, one of the principles of Zen is chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water. And when you're chopping wood, chop wood. And when you're carrying water, carry the water. The problem with most people is, it's like they're having sex thinking about the laundry. And then they're doing the laundry thinking about having sex. That's not chop wood, carry water. Do the laundry when you're doing the laundry and have sex when you're having sex. People don't do that. People who do that are autonomous people who are accomplishing things in life. So chop wood, carry water.
I love that. And I'm going to write that down because I put that in.
I think it's huge. I think that the better you get, the more skilled you get, the more whatever, however lofty you get, the more intentional you get, the more effective you get, the more it's about chop wood, carry water.
Yeah.
People who are multitasking are full of something.
First off, there is no such thing as multitasking.
No.
And I learned this from Dr. Robbins. I really like the way he approaches human behavior. So I've been very fortunate to sit in an audience and interface with him.
Who is Dr. Robbins?
Dr. Robbins, Stephen Robbins. He goes around to different organizations, but he's really an expert in human behavior.
Yeah, he's a guy who's got a clue.
He's got a
clue about what works.
Yes, and his book is called What If, and I love it.
Oh, okay.
And one of the biggest things that he kind of brought to my view where I completely was misunderstood. He goes, well, first off, there's no thing called multitasking. Your brain just toggles fast, but it toggles so fast, but you're not doing two things at the same time. Your brain is not prepared to do that. So that's first and foremost. So take that logic and throw it out the trash, because there is no such thing as multitasking, but someone ingrained it in you to believe that it happens.
A lot of people think that it is, and here's the reason why we're having this conversation. Amateurs have a multitasking mentality. No such thing.
Yeah. And the other thing that I loved about what I took away from some of his teachings was
Mhm.
that we're programmed, our brain wants to use less energy, and X plus Y equals Z, and your brain tries to create those connection points. And it takes very intentional focus on breaking those patterns and evolve and see for what it is. And he talks about ancient brain and modern brain. And
Uh-huh.
he explains how, when you're hardwired, right? Just because your parents had some political affiliation doesn't mean that that's your belief system right now, but somehow
Mhm.
you wired that into your ancient brain and it uses less energy. So that's what you are until you're 18. Now you can vote. You're voting really what your parents were voting. And it was fascinating how he
Or you're angry at your parents and so
do the
I'll show
opposite.
them.
100%. Right. So the human behavior side of the game is extremely important, but I always stress to others, don't use that as your crutch. That's where the data is, but don't say, oh,
Mhm.
well, I'm wired this way. I mean, that's what human behavior is.
Oh,
No, no, no.
please,
Your laziness
please, please,
is your
please.
laziness.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
You said something a little bit, you used a kind of an algebraic X plus Y equals Z sort of thing. I want to talk to you a little bit about that, just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. X equals X. That's what it equals.
Mhm.
X equals X. Now, here's the deal. People do X equals Y
Mhm.
plus my story equals X.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
I
X
didn't think about
equals
it like
X. X equals X. Be somewhere on Thursday at 2:00. Be at the corner of 4th and Main on Thursday at 2:00. That's X equals X. I
that.
say I'm going to do that. I do that. X equals X. At 2:00 on Tuesday, I'm not at the corner of 4th and Main. I'm somewhere else. And then I show up later, maybe
Mhm.
5 minutes later, maybe 1 minute later, maybe 1 minute later, maybe 5 minutes later, maybe an hour later, and I show up and I've got X is Y
Mhm.
plus my story, I had a flat tire, equals X. It does not equal X. You just told a lie.
I never thought about it like that, but that makes so much sense.
Oh, yeah. X equals X, and that's life.
That's
Chop wood,
excuse-based
carry
mentality.
water. Chop wood, X equals X. Carry water, X equals X. Do that. But, oh, I was chopping wood and I had to carry water.
Mhm.
Multitask, do something else. But I did that. And then later on, I came around and I finished chopping wood. X equals X. No, it doesn't.
Yeah. No, I really like that. I'm gonna start
Yeah.
using that, incorporating that, and holding myself accountable because,
Yeah, that's the algebra of integrity.
but what's even more fascinating about it, upon reflecting in real time, is an excuse-based mentality and an ownership mentality. And
Say more about that.
so excuse based is the easy thing to do. You find all the reasons why something X is not X. Some
Yeah,
story
X is
behind
Y
it.
plus my story.
Hey, I went to a leadership training. These tools are great. I have this high energy. I leave the room and I succumb back to my
No, I just haven't had time to implement them.
right excuse based, some excuse based mentality, which is why they're
Yeah,
always going to be where they started.
yeah,
And
but that's where they go. That's where they go. It's like the lie starts with anything after the word because.
no doubt. And I'll personally hold myself accountable. I had to focus on breaking that, although I really have a focus on the ownership mentality and having accountability. That's where that
Uh-huh.
athlete in me
Yeah,
helps
well,
that.
but see, that's you playing the game, learning the rules and correcting.
100%. But I want to highlight that because the 3% we're talking about that's autonomous, they didn't just get there. They've evolved. They lead the life with integrity. They have an ownership mentality and understand that they're not always going to get it right, but they're going to have not only others around them, but they're going to have that time where they reflect and they're intentional each day. So it doesn't become a habit or a ritual. You can make a mistake in life.
Let me tell you from another world. Do you know of a little a Norwegian girl? She's a woman now, young woman now, named Angelina Jordan.
No.
You should. Okay, Angelina Jordan is one of the greatest jazz stylist singers in the world.
Okay.
And has been since she was 6 years old.
Wow.
She's an unbelievably gifted singer. She won Norway's Got Talent when she was 6. When she was 13, she came on to America's Got Talent with Simon.
Maybe I have. You know what? I'm going to look that
She
up.
sang Bohemian Rhapsody and blew
Oh, I know
everybody.
exactly who you're talking about. I just
Okay, I'm
named
telling
it.
you that when she was 2.5 or 3 years old, she was in nursery school. And the teacher was teaching the class to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And they were singing the thing, and she looked around at her mother, her father, who was videoing her, and she was going. She knew at the age of 2 or 3, that's not singing. Mm-hmm. That's some sort of group get you to do it all together. And I guess everybody feels like they've done something altogether, but that's not what singing. She knew what singing was. Singing was Dinah Washington. Singing was singing like that. And she had that as her vision of what singing is, guiding her through her entire life. She's about 24 now. Unbelievable singer. Unbelievable. We will not see another like her ever. She's one of a kind. So Angelina Jordan, check her out as play the game, learn the rules, correct.
I love it. I love it. And just get it done. It's like there's a point too where we can have a conversation. Look, if your mentality is not there, do some internal soul searching. Decide if you even want to be in the game.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be in the game, fine, no big deal. But don't expect to get the top 3% results. Just don't.
Let me tell you that you're so right. It's a relief to everybody if you just bow out gracefully.
Yeah, get on out. Get on out.
Because
you're holding the weight.
Listen, we're in the boat and you're not paddling. Give somebody else the paddle. Get out of the boat, or before we throw you out of the boat, get out of the boat, hand over your paddle, leave the boat with honor. If not, it's going to be embarrassing, because the higher we go, the less tolerance we have for free riders, for people who have a story, for people who are doing X plus equals Y plus my story equals X. We have less and less tolerance. And when you get up at the level of Olympic gold medals, there is zero tolerance for that sort of camel dung.
Well, there's no tolerance at all.
Exactly.
It's so.
And not only that, but those are the people you want to play with.
Exactly, because you don't get to have an off day. You don't get to go back to your your pitfalls.
Yeah, and the story about who you used to be is not interesting.
Oh, I learned that one. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
You keep growing and developing and contributing, and then you die. Period.
Yeah. So guess what? You got one life to live. Either you go all in, you lean in, you figure it out, you create your habits and rituals as a part of who you are, have the ownership mentality, or not. That is your decision. It is your choice. You get to make that. No one is going to just bring you along just because they want to skip along with you. The top 3% don't have time to be doing that.
Yeah.
They don't have time.
And that's exactly it. That's exactly it. It is, and as a 3%er trying to be straight-jacketed into the 97% conversation, no wonder people actually they're arguing for their freedom. They're arguing for their self-expression. They're arguing for greatness. And greatness is not the same as better than or good enough. Better than. Stage 3 better than. is not greatness.
Yeah.
No access.
And, you know, one of the biggest takeaways when breaking bread with you and really learning and absorbing from you is you're earning that every day.
Mm,
You have to earn that every day.
mhm,
And
mhm,
you're gonna learn new things about yourself. It's not a static, you're not a static person. You evolve. Okay. So when
mhm,
you
mhm,
aspire and earn your
mhm,
greatness,
mhm,
that comes with a responsibility
mhm.
to be all in and lean in and actually mean it and do what is required to get it done.
Listen, you spent the time, the money, and the energy to come down here to have your life impacted. If you go away the same person that walked in the door on Monday, you walk away 2 days later, 3 days later, a week later, the same woman that walked in the door. I failed. I apologize. But I
Yeah,
think I
that's
think
not the
something
case.
happened.
That's not the case. No, as ever, right? Thank you. I really love, I really love chop the wood, carry water.
Yeah, chop wood, carry water.
I, I just love it. And
Yep,
for
yep.
anyone, for
It,
anyone listening,
listen, for athletes, that's the only way.
well, of course, but some athletes just use their physical skill sets that they have
Ah,
and they stay
yeah,
there.
you
But
know, it's like young athletes, young amateurs. I don't care how many. Listen, when Tiger won 3 senior amateur titles, and then turned pro, and Nike gave him $40 million the day he turned pro. And he turned pro, and in his first 9 tournaments, he went out and he won 5 of the first 9 tournaments. He still was not a pro. And not Gary Player, but Arnold Palmer
mhm.
and I forget the other guy, it might have been Greg Norman, took him behind the woodshed and had a talk with him because he was not showing up and doing the grind. He was showing up and he was doing life like it's events based. And he was not doing the professional process. And he got his clock cleaned by people who had done it and that he needed to listen to. And he came out of that conversation different human being with a different attitude towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, greatest golfer of the last 500 years, but he was either going to do it as an amateur or he was going to turn pro. And turning pro was not about the day that he signed and he got $40 million. It was
Yep.
the day he had a conversation with a couple of people who had been there, done that,
Mm-hmm.
and told him about what it is to chop wood and carry water. That's
Couldn't
Tiger Woods.
couldn't have said it better. We're coming on time here, right? And
Okay.
the biggest thing that I stress for myself, my accountability, my ownership is continue to strive to be at the next level, bottom of the top, and be
Mhm.
humbled often, go after it, learn from the greats because they've obviously done something right. And you need to learn, and you need to
Mhm.
not only learn but be able to improvise when you put that mirror up. And maybe you did a little bit more excuse based thinking.
Oh, listen, no doubt about it. The word learn has the word earn embedded in
I'm a big earn while you learn while you
it.
earn.
Mhm.
You know, you there's so
Well,
much value.
earn your greatness, earn your greatness, learn your greatness, earn your greatness.
Yeah. As ever, thank you. You are the
Thank you.
best. And
Thank you.
I know many people are going to benefit from this one. So I'm excited.
Yeah, this is a good one.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.